Welcome back to AlphaCars and Royal Enfield Boston. My name is Ian, and today I'm showing you this brand new 2022 Royal Enfield Classic 350. This is in the Halcyon Black color. It's a very nice color contrast in my opinion. I like the metal flake in the paint and then the graphics to go along. I think it's a very stunning machine. So this video is going to be a general overview where we're going to learn about the specifications, features, talk about that 3-year unlimited mileage warranty, and we'll go over some of the accessories we offer here at Royal Enfield Boston. We can ship them right to your door. So even if you're not local, check out our online store where you can acquire some things to personalize your 350. Next to it, we have another brand new Classic 350. This is in the chrome bronze color. So we do have a separate video on this one, which will be linked in this video. So definitely check that out if you're interested in that color or want to learn more about that specific bike. But in this video, we're focusing on the Halcyon Black. So whether you just bought a Classic and you want to learn more or get more familiar, or you're just thinking about buying one, then you found the right video, you're in the right place. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So let's start by talking about that warranty I'd mentioned. These come with a 3-year unlimited mileage warranty, which is really quite impressive. It really just tells you how much Royal Enfield stands behind their product. These are really European quality bikes. The design, the build quality, the fit and finish, it's all pretty amazing, as this bike will really speak for itself in this video. And we at Royal Enfield Boston, we sell hundreds of these Royal Enfields a year, and we see little to none come back for warranty concerns. I personally can't think of the last time we had one in for a warranty item. So they are very reliable and very robust. And I mean, 3 years, unlimited mileage, that's a lot of riding. Not having to worry about turning a wrench on one if a mishap did happen. But like I said, the chances are really pretty low from what we see on these bikes. And that's really above average in the industry standard for a motorcycle warranty. Most manufacturers offer a 1, maybe 2-year warranty, sometimes with a mileage cap. So like I said, 3-year unlimited mileage. Royal Enfield really has just gone above and beyond in that aspect. Now let's get onto the engine, the beating heart of this Classic 350. It's a fuel injected 4-stroke 349cc single overhead cam, single cylinder. It makes 20 horsepower and 19.9 foot-pounds of torque, and it is mated with a 5-speed gearbox. Very slick shifting transmission, nice and easy to find neutral in my experience. And these are air and oil cooled, so we have these nice cooling fins on the cylinder and a little heat sink on the header pipe as well. So that, aiding with the oil circulating around the engine, will keep it at a nice safe operating temperature. Checking out the gas tank, 3.4 gallon gas tank. So with a Royal Enfield's rating of around 89 miles to the gallon, you're really going to have the maximum miles per gallon on this without worrying about filling up or finding a fuel stop somewhere. So that is all very exciting. And now let's get on to the wheels, brakes, and suspension. We have a 300 millimeter disc in the front. We can see it is drilled, and it is a floating design with a nice 2-piston caliper. And in the rear, we have a 270 millimeter disc. Once again, floating design, and it's drilled for maximum efficiency and smooth stopping power. And then a single piston caliper on the back. And these do have ABS as standard front and rear. So that's a very nice, safe feature as well. And then the wheels, it's a 19-inch spoked wheel in the front. You can see it is a very beautiful looking wheel. And then an 18-inch in the back, and they are aluminum alloy rims that they are laced, those hubs are laced to. And the rear shocks are preload adjustable, so if you're going to take a passenger or load up with gear, then you can set the rear preload accordingly, so you get the proper safe handling characteristics. And then we do have a 6.7-inch ground clearance. So, rough roads, speed bumps, you don't really have to worry. The bike has adequate ground clearance in that aspect. Now let's take a look in these nice looking side covers. We have this awesome looking graphic. These do lock, so we're just gonna insert our ignition key, give that a quarter turn. And on this side of the bike, we have our battery, some related relays and fuses, and we have our battery tender lead, which we install in all the machines we sell. So then you're able to plug in if you're gonna store the bike and keep that battery topped off. And we see rolled up in there in that waterproof bag, we have our factory toolkit. So now to shut this, push it in, quarter turn, and you're all set there. And now on this other side, once again, let's just insert our key, quarter turn, hinges down very nicely. We have a little bit of storage, so we have our owner's manual here, and you could keep like your registration or other documents you may need. So it's a very nice booklet there. And then behind this assembly is the air filter, if you're looking to do your own maintenance. So very nice and accessible. And then to shut this, you just push it in, quarter turn, pull the key out, and you're done there. And talking about maintenance too, the oil filter, it's a cartridge type. Those 3 Allen head bolts, the oil filter is just right in there. Nice and easy, nice and accessible. So once again, Royal Enfield just making things pretty simple and easy to do your own basic maintenance if you want to do that sort of thing. Now, before I throw a leg over this and show you the controls and start it up, let's talk about that center stand. You can see it's on a center stand right now. These come standard with one, and a lot of motorcycles now, especially ones in a very, much higher price bracket than this Classic, they don't come with center stands anymore. And a center stand is really such a useful and safe item. It makes storing the bike very convenient since it's straight up, it's not leaning over and taking up more space. And if you would like to do basic maintenance, like chain maintenance, you can see here I can just spin that rear wheel. And it's really the safest way to do so is having it up on that center stand. So, I mean, it's gonna cost hundreds of dollars to buy a center stand. And if you're gonna pay someone's labor to install it, it's another, few $100 depending on the type of bike you have, how in-depth the install is. So, it's really a great savings and a great feature that these come with as standard. So now let's get it off the center stand and let's talk about the ergonomics, the comfort, and that seat height and the weight of the machine. So now that it's on the side stand, I'm gonna throw a leg over it and stand it up. It's a 31.6 inch seat height, and it has a 430 pound wet weight. And the wet weight of a motorcycle is the actual weight that you're going to be maneuvering and handling, because the wet weight is the machine full of fluids, so like oil, brake fluid, anything the bike needs to run, full of gas as well. So, don't be fooled if you look at a dry weight of a motorcycle, because that's not actually what you're going to be experiencing. So as far as the seat height, I did mention it's 31.6 inches. I'm 5'11", so I do have a little bit of height on my side, but we can see I'm flat-footed with a bend in the knee. It's a very just comfortable place to be. So as far as controls, we obviously have our shifter on the left for that 5-speed gearbox. We have our rear brake on the right. Very standard motorcycle setup. On the clutch side, we obviously have the clutch, which may I mention, it's a very light and responsive pull. I personally ride with 2 fingers on the levers, so even in traffic, you're not going to get tired out, or at least personally, I wouldn't. So just something to mention there. And then we have these cool kind of 3-way switches on both sides that combine a few things. So we have our low beam, which is always on. We have our high beam, and then our flash to pass, or momentary high beam, is included in that switch, so that's kind of cool. And then this button on the back, where usually that would be your momentary high beam, on most motorcycles, that will switch your trips and the multifunction aspect of the dash, which we'll look at in just a second. We'll obviously have our blinkers, not self-canceling, to make sure to cancel those out when you're done. We have our horn, and then we have this 3-way switch once again. So we have run, kill, and then start. And another very safe and cool standard feature on this Royal Enfield are the 4-way blinkers, or the hazards. Once again, bikes in a much higher, even price point, they don't come with that. A lot of bikes, unfortunately. So you do have to turn the ignition on, and then you can put our hazards on. And then if you turn the ignition off, they do stay on. So it's a very nice safe feature if you were, just looking to be seen stopped somewhere and not wanting to keep the ignition on the bike. And then we can just turn those off like so. And then once again, front brake, there's not a lot of free play, which I personally like. It's just very responsive. And then our throttle. Grips are very comfortable on the Classic. They're kind of like a soft touch rubber. Once again, some other maybe bikes I've ridden or looked at, the grips are just kind of hard plastic and they're not very, appealing or comfortable to ride for long distances, and the vibrations from the bike just go right up into your arms. So once again, just another quality touch. So now let's start it up and hear that 350. So we've got our gauge needle sweep that just did its self-check, and all we have to do is hit the starter. I'll give it a couple revs for you. So the fueling is very dialed in on these bikes. The cold starts are good. It's only around 35-40 degrees today in New England. And they're just a very responsive and eager engine to ride these 350s. And just a note too, if you look on the dash, our ABS light is on. That is normal. The ABS light, you have to roll forward 2 or 3 feet before that light will go off, because it has to do a self-check. Those ABS sensors have to get a signal off the tone rings to make sure everything's working properly. And if you start riding and that ABS light remains on, then there is a problem with the system and you just want to bring it in to your local Royal Enfield dealer. But that's just a note there. And now turning this back on, checking out our dashboard, we have a fuel gauge up at the top right here. I personally love that these bikes have fuel gauges, as kind of most modern bikes do. But it's just nice not to have to go by mileage or like peek in the tank every once in a while on, maybe on some more classic bikes you always had to do that, or at least I always had to do that, kind of riding, on the dual sport side of things. But we have our trip as well. So this is our trip F. If we use our multifunction button right here, we can cycle through. So we have our time, our odometer, trip 1, trip 2, trip F, and then to reset the trip, you just go to the respective trip. So let's say trip 2, and now all we're gonna do is press and hold our button. In just a couple seconds, that resets itself. So very intuitive, very easy to use. We have this nice Classic 350 nameplate. The Tripper navigation system that links with Google Maps on your phone to give you turn-by-turn directions, that's no longer standard on this model year, but if you were to option one with the Tripper navigation, then that would go in this little pod right here. But I do like how Royal Enfield made it kind of pretty, not having that there. They could have just made it blank, and really not aesthetically pleasing, but I do like that nice design and they did there. So now I'm going to throw this back on the center stand and we can go over some of the awesome accessories we offer here at Royal Enfield Boston. So now with it back on the center stand, we can enjoy looking at this beautiful machine just a little bit longer while I talk about some of the accessories we offer. These will be linked in the video description and some of them will pop up on your video screen. If you're not local to us in New England, we do ship these right to your door, even worldwide. So definitely check out our parts store. It is linked, like I said, in the video and then in the description. So we have things like a rear luggage rack. We have various wind screens if you want some wind protection, something from like a touring taller screen all the way to just like a little bug kind of deflector style, just to kind of keep the mosquitoes and the bugs off you in the summer. So definitely you got options there. We have various engine protection offerings. So, people may call them crash bars, but they're engine protection bars. So unfortunately, if the machine did like tip over, then you would protect those vital engine components and it would scuff up, or I shouldn't say scuff up, it would land on those engine bars instead of your beautiful engine casings. We have an LED headlight bulb that fits right in these housings, and it makes a pretty big difference with the light output. So we do have on our parts store, we have a video showing that light output comparison. So if you're interested in that, check out our listing on our parts store. And we even have a backrest kit for your passenger. So that would replace this grab handle. It would add a very nice backrest on that rear pillion seat to make things a bit more comfortable if you choose to do so for your passenger. So that's all I have for you on this Classic. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're not local to us, we do arrange transportation, so definitely send us an email, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you about Royal Enfields and find the right bike for you, and even have it, like I said, have it transported to you if you're not local. So please leave a like on this video. We appreciate your support. It does not go unnoticed. We love making these informative, fun videos, and we can't do it without you guys, so we do appreciate that. And please hit that subscribe button so then you'll stay in the loop of all the latest cars, bikes, and accessories we have to offer here at AlphaCars and Royal Enfield Boston.